Hi all, it's Skip from Skip's Messy Workbench, and I have finished, or at least to the point where I am finished, with the 1955 Chevy 2-ton stake body. It's I did it as an old beat up farm truck. The model is an Atlantis. I think it was an H1401. Um, the particular kit I used had a lot of issues, a lot of fit issues, just a lot of issues across the board. And I hope it was only in the one that I had. I know that happens, that sometimes a particular kit has issues and others do not. Because this was made by Atlantis, and I normally have very good luck with Atlantis kits. They're usually very nice. But this kit, just the fit on most everything, especially the cab, was just beyond what I've had in any model that I've ever built, and I'm going back to the early to mid '60s. So anyway, it turned out okay because I did it as an old beat up farm truck. So with the rust and the beating up and stuff, I was able to hide a multitude of sin. and, and that said, this was only the second time I have ever did a rust out, beat up, really worn out type of model. So I would really appreciate some feedback from anybody and everybody who does this kind of modeling as to how I did. I want the criticism. If I should have done something differently, please tell me, and because I learn that way. And or if what I mean, just give me some suggestions as to what I could have done better, but also tell me what I did okay. So again, I'm learning. I'm attempting to learn. So anyway, here's the 55 stake body, and for a farm truck, I guess it came out okay. But it's one of those that I was almost ready to put it in the scrap bin, only because I didn't like the way it was coming out. But hey, I'll let you guys and gals be the judge of that. All right. So, hey, stay with me and I'll take you down to the shop and we'll go through the build, the final part of the build and the final build, and just a couple of photos at the end of it. All right. So hang in there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a short. Hi, it's Skip. Welcome to my shop. And I'm going to first of all apologize for the blower noise in the background, which is my air conditioning unit, because it is again enormously hot and humid here in Pennsylvania. So you turn the air off and the sweat would be pouring off of me. So anyway, I apologize for that. Secondly, I apologize in the fact that my voice might be a little bit weirder, because my sinuses are killing me. But I wanted to get this video done. So, that said, I am finished with the 55 Chevy Stake Body, at least as far as I am going to get with it. So here's my finished product. This was an is an Atlantis kit. It is a 1/48 scale kit. I wish they would make a 1/24 or 1/25 scale, but I couldn't find one, and I like this truck. I always kind of liked this truck. Anyway, so I thought I'd give it a try. I also saw it built on another channel a while back ago. I think it's the HPI guy or something like that, and he built the whole thing on camera. So I also was aware that he had a few issues with it, but you know, I don't care about some of the issues, that because all kits have some. Anyway, this kit, if you watched my previous 3 videos on this kit had some issues, and I'm not going to harp on them, all right? But the even after dry fitting, and I knew after dry fitting that there were going to be fit issues and gaps. I knew that, and as I built and got further along, they actually were worse than during dry fitting. So I was thankful that I was going to be doing an old beat up farm truck, because that dirtying up and all that stuff is going to definitely hide a multitude of sin. So my idea for this came from the fact that my uncle used to be part owner in a beef farm, and the owner, the other owner, who was the majority owner, had an old truck up on the farm, no license on it, nothing, because it never left the property. It was always just used from the barns, and I say that plural because he had several barns, and out to the fields, going out to the fields, and just hauling stuff in and out from the fields. He had a couple of hundred steer. He might have had almost 1,200 steer at one point, but anyway, neither here nor there. So I always remembered that old truck because it seemed like it was going to fall apart every time you got in it. So it made all kinds of noise and rattles and shakes, but it was fun. You know, when you're a kid, all that kind of stuff is fun. So anyway, I don't even know if it was a Chevy. I just know it was a beat up old truck. So this kit, I don't want to harp on the negatives anymore on it, okay, because all kits have something. This one just had its share. So I'm glad I was going to make it an old beat up farm truck, because again, you could hide a multitude of sin when you're doing that. So I've only ever dirtied up and rusted up one other kit in my entire model building career. So this was number 2, and I appreciate any comments from those of you who are good at doing that, and give me some feedback. You know, did I do wrong? Did I do right? Give me some help here. You know, I learned from that. But anyway, here we go. I built my own stakes, and my previous videos show that. And I built my own stakes because the stakes that came with the truck, as you again saw in my previous videos, they were fine. There was nothing wrong with them, except they had lots and lots of injector pin marks on them. And you know, it was just going to be a lot of work to get them all filled or sanded off, and I would have lost the wood grain texture. So I decided I was going to make my own, and it was actually a very easy process. I mean, it's nothing, this is not rocket science here. So I made my own just using some balsa wood and some styrene. Again, you look at my previous video, I show you how I made those. And I also put my own wooden bed in, and I'll take this stuff out in a minute. You can see my own wooden bed. So I did a yellow door to show that it was already replaced and already rusting in spots. I also did not use the mirror that came with this truck. I built a West Coast style mirror for it, and
the hood didn't fit well, but that fit right into my scheme, because I remember his truck didn't fit well, or his hood didn't fit well either. So that's that. It does come off. The engine's in here. Honest, it does come off. Come here. Other times it just falls off. Okay, the hay's falling out, but that's okay. I want to take this stuff out of the back anyway. So let me take this stuff out of the back here. All right. And I've got the stakes that go in the back also there, stored in there, and the spare tire no longer goes on the bottom because, you know, we hit some rough ground out there in the field and the spare tire rack got torn off. So it's just my thing. All right, so anyway, I was back up front here. So this guy right here, the engine is in there, and it's not much to it. It was a three-piece engine, actually, 2 halves and the air cleaner, the radiator, and the battery is molded right into the firewall. So that was that. The bed, I redid the bed. The bed on here, again, it was fine. There was nothing wrong with the bed, except that the plastic showed, you could see the mold marks from the underneath bracing. So all I did was, and I have, again, if you looked at my previous videos, it shows that. So I used some balsa wood on here and then just dirtied it up real good with some Vallejo paints. So that's what I did there for the bed. And then I'm going to just put some of this stuff back in because I want to tell you, these drums, these 55-gallon drums, I found these on Etsy.com, ETSY.com. They sell a lot of small miniature scale type items. I don't want to, because I'm going to want to turn this over. And I got lucky. They were 1/48 scale, so that's great. The hay bales, these hay bales, I also got on Etsy. They're not 1/48 scale, but they're about 1/35 scale, 1/35, 1/36, something like that, if you're referencing a small hay bale. And there's small and large standard sizes. So it was close enough for me on that. So I also, on the bottom, I think you can see I dirtied up the bottom. Maybe not as much as I would have liked to, but I did anyway. So that's that. And you know, as much problems that I've had with this, and the fact that the cab was in 7 pieces, I don't know why somebody would make a cab in 7 pieces, but it doesn't. Again, it doesn't matter. It's what it is. That it was difficult getting it together, especially the fact that nothing fit. It was just nothing fit. There's a lot of filler putty up on those cab parts that are buried underneath all the grit and grime and dirt and stuff. So again, I'm going negative, and I don't want to do that. I just don't want to do that. Anyway, it was actually a fun build. I learned a lot. I got to practice some techniques that I've been wanting to practice, and so it was all right. It was a good build. Oh, excuse me. Again, my sinuses are killing me today. It was a good build. I learned a lot from it, and I want to thank Mr. BG, Brian, over at BG Model Workshop. Brian, I hope I got your channel name right, but it's BG's work. BG. I remembered that he had done a video a long time ago about how to show glass, that safety glass that was cracked. So I went to her, I watched it, and this was my first attempt at it, It got okay for my first attempt, but I knew I didn't want pristine glass, and I knew I didn't want dirtied up glass either. I wanted it broken. I wanted it shattered. Something hit it, you know. So I wanted that. So thanks, BG. That was very, very helpful. I did not put the side windows in that came with the kit, mainly because they just didn't fit. It's almost like they were from a different kit. So I left them out. But again, other than the cab, everything else was fine. Everything else was fine. This is a fun kit. I wouldn't recommend it for somebody building a kit for the first time. I think it might drive you away from the hobby. But if you're a seasoned builder, it's a challenge and it's fun. I had a lot of fun with it. Some frustration, but I also had a lot of fun with it. So anyway, it's about all I have to say on it. There wasn't much to it. The longest process was that cab, and the fact that I was too fussy and I had to I wanted to build my own stakes. Oh, by the way, I even used some 26 gauge wire on some of these slats here. I don't know if you can see that or not. You know, this thing broke out in the field, so they had to use some baling wire to make some repairs on it. And that's just 26 gauge wire. It's soft drawn copper. So that's that. And I guess that's it. All right. So I want to thank all my subscribers. I want to thank all my guests. I would truly love to hear from those of you who are experts at rusting and aging and all that kind of stuff. I would love to hear your comments, your opinions, some advice on it. Again, on my website, I went through my process of how I did it, and I just layered a bunch of different browns and rust colors and reds, and then topped it off with some Tamiya JA green, and then just did some sanding and scraping and stuff like that to get down to the rust layers. So okay, that's about it. I'm going to start rambling, so I don't want to do that either. So, and again, this is it. The 55 Chevy Stake Body. So again, thank you all. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the likes. I appreciate the everything. The comments. This modeling community is a really nice community. These are all a bunch of nice, really nice people. Really, really nice people, and I appreciate each and every one of you. So do me a favor. Give it a thumbs up, give it a like, helps the algorithm, and you know what? I will see you in the next video. Bye.